Hello and welcome to Red Barn Radio. I'm Brad Becker. Red Barn Radio is now in its 19th broadcast season of Roots Music Southern Style, and tonight is show number 702. To keep our staff and our musical guests safe, we will continue to abide by state and local guidelines concerning cleanliness and personal protective equipment. For now, our Wednesday performances will take place without a live in-studio audience. And now, folks, please welcome to the Red Barn stage our friend and a super standout singer-songwriter originally from here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome, Stoll Vaughan.
Thank you so much. Still mills of Pennsylvania, clouds of Ohio, against the great in Indiana, looking out for the state patrol, horse tracks of the bluegrass, cold dust of West Virginia, in the pines of Carolina, the moon now is sitting low, and I'm heading on down to Greenville. Snake oil with the melody that I said. I'm gonna find her, tell her I love her, yes I do, and hope that she loves me too. Smoke hills of Tennessee, and down the roads of Georgia. Lay your head, you better get some sleep. I'll be close to you tomorrow. Turn on the radio, find yourself a little coast to coast. See something in the skyline, I'm feeling like a traveling ghost. And I'm heading on down to Birmingham. A shiny red guitar and dust in my hand. I'm gonna find her, tell her I love her, yes I do, even if she's got herself another man. 'Cause everything fades, that's what we do, yeah. Everything is gonna fade. I've been fading away from you. I'm headed to Memphis, something there I gotta get with, something in the air, you know, something my heart can't resist. On down to Muscle Shoals, I'm gonna put my money on a riverboat. Lady luck better dance with me, or else I'm leaving here broke. And I'm heading on down to Jackson, $100 bill in a pocket knife. I'm gonna find her, tell her I love her, yes I do, even if she's somebody else's wife. 'Cause everything fades, that's what we do, yeah. Everything is gonna fade. I've been fading away from you. I've been places that never sleep, seen eyes that never dream. Believe I'm getting somewhere, but somewhere has gotten to me. On the banks of the Cumberland, with my brother and Alani. Crossed every bridge with a river and every town in between. And I'm heading on back to Greenville. Snake oil with the melody that I said. I'm gonna find you, tell you I love you, yes I do. And I hope that you remember me.
Thank you. Good evening. and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to the music of Kentucky. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at w.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. Lex Arts, Lexington, Kentucky's Arts Council, creating a great American city inspired by the arts. Chef Greg Scott and Broussard's Delta Kitchen, featuring authentic flavors of New Orleans and the Mississippi Delta on Main Street in historic Georgetown, Kentucky. Broussard's is on Facebook. And AccuPrint, providing printing, design, and fulfillment. Online at accuprint.us. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and hopefully like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
On the Red Barn stage tonight is Stoll Vaughan, who is an acclaimed singer-songwriter, a Kentucky native who has only recently returned to his home state after spending some years in Michigan and Indiana and most recently L.A. Stoll would probably be the first to tell you that he's never been a big fan of school, but that doesn't mean he hates learning. Tonight, we're going to hear songs from Stoll's fourth studio album, Desire's Shape, and we'll talk together about what he's learned in a life very well lived. Stoll has shared stages with a host of players you'll certainly recognize, and his music has earned placements in popular TV shows from True Blood to Friday Night Lights. Welcome, Stoll Vaughan, to the Red Barn stage.
Thank you so much, Ed. This song is called Put It Back Together. It's on my new record, Desire's Shape. I just put it out during this whole time. Failure drives the driven man to face the things he doesn't understand. Know himself as he is here, against the odds and against the fears. And grace is all he ever finds in the darkness where there ain't no time. There he makes the case that everything is made to break, so you can put it back together. We'll see it like you've never seen before. We put it back together. Oh yeah. Defeat devours what she was, and the weakness in the things she wants. There with no defense, a whole damn world we're up against. And faith is what she concedes in the silence of her unmet needs. There she makes the claim that everything is made to break, so you can put it back together. You will know it like you've never known before. You put it back together. Oh yeah. Yeah, we all get lost, you know, and it gets real cold. It's hard to find a damn thing if you're buried in a hole. And all your reasons, they don't make sense. And it feels like it's over, but it might just begin. You gotta put it back together. And you will hear it like you've never heard before. Put it back together, baby. You're gonna love like you've never loved before. Oh, yeah. All right, thank you very much. That song is called Put It Back Together. Now, I haven't played all that much, so this song is called Desires of Despair. This song I wrote, I was trying to help somebody out who was dealing with the opiate problem, and this was out in Los Angeles, and he's from Michigan, and I thought about it. He didn't make it, and I thought about his mother having to come all the way out to California and deal with that situation, and so it goes out to those who are suffering or who have suffered from it, and it's called Desires of Despair. Well, from coast to coast, blown by desert wind, on down the highway where the blue skies never end. You'll meet men like me, no matter where you go, just trying to stay in front of the darkness that we know. And I'll tell you the truth, I really want to care, but I'm all wrapped up in desires of despair. That dog comes here every hour and a half. He comes around here to get a pat upon his back. Well, you know I love him, 'cause he won't ever judge. If there was any man I know that you would. And I'll tell you the truth, I really want to care, but I'm all wrapped up in desires of despair. Blame it on the drugs, you can blame my old man. It's hard to look me in my eyes that I understand. If my mama found me out here, her heart it could not bear to see the one that you love in desires of despair. In the alleys of our cities, in the bedrooms of our homes, yeah, we might be surrounded, but we still feel alone. And I'll tell you the truth, we really want to care, but we're all wrapped up in desires of despair. Yes, we're all wrapped up in desires of despair. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, this next song, as you've seen on Kentucky for Kentucky t-shirts and many other sayings around here, you've never met a Kentuckian that isn't either thinking about going home or actually going home. And I have made my way from Los Angeles back to Kentucky during the pandemic of 2020. And but this song I wrote for my newest record, Desire Shape. Sorry, the song was on there. And it's called Weather in Kentucky. And people go, well, I don't get what that's about. And if you're from Kentucky, you know, if you don't like the weather, if you wait a moment, it'll change. And so I took that premise, and I wrote this for my brother, because he was going through a breakup, and I figure he'll get over it, and he can be reminded of it after I play the song. So here we go. Footsteps against dead leaves is all that I can hear. Open field, the cool breeze, and change is already here. Broken up what it was and what we could have been. Yeah, maybe time will be so kind, but I won't wait till then. If you ask me right now, I'll tell you I'm okay. But like the weather in Kentucky, in a moment that could change. Snow falls on the pines and softly finds its place. Covers up the way you feel until it melts away. Maybe we never knew each other until it was torn down. But the dream of us getting back together is colder than the ground. And if you ask me right now, I'm better off today. But like the weather in Kentucky, in a moment that could change. In between thunderstorms, the sun is shining bright. Fishing rods and fishing holes, they're always on my mind. Good things that we are, may they carry on. When I think of you, yeah, here's the truth, I'm glad that you've been gone. If you ask me right now, I might not cuss her name. But like the weather in Kentucky, in a moment that could change. Like the weather in Kentucky, in a moment that could change. All right. And it's called Weather in Kentucky. So I didn't know, I was informed to speak between each song, so I'm going to tell you this. I would go right into this next song because I thought there might be an audience. Since there's not, I will tell you that this song is kind of my barroom song for most TV shows. It's been in, a ton of things. The Office, Friday Night Lights, some movies, True Blood. It's called All Right. And this song I had on my second record. And I wrote it coming out of a bar in Indianapolis, and it was like a February. It was really cold, and I was playing a sports bar. And if anybody knows, if you're a singer-songwriter playing a sports bar, it's pretty miserable. And then you're walking out into the cold, and there was a parking attendant that had one arm that was mean to me on the way in, and on the way out, he had a little person in his lap, and he was making out with her. And I thought, for that moment, oh, everything's perfect actually in this world. And So this is about true love and bar rooms and cold weather and other things. And so anyways, here we go. There's a midget with a pitchfork and a sign saying he's well hung. Lady in the bar room, she's speaking herself in tongue. Preacher on the podium, he's handling a snake. Lord's gonna get you if you don't pay him your way. Are you alright? Oh, are you alright? In order to fit in, yeah, we stand within the crowd. Choirs are singing, boys, I'm getting quite loud. Nobody's listening, nobody ever cares. This is where you come when you gotta be somewhere. Are you alright? Oh, are you alright? Keep her in your thoughts at the time of her birth. See what nothing is and what nothing's ever worth. Watch stand on picket line, she'll learn to complain. Turn herself in early, go back to where she came. Are you alright? Oh, are you alright? Crowd forming outside and they're chanting a phrase. Come out behind your doors, boys, and stop your evil ways. Preachers arming everyone with gold and with guns. Bribe the fools and shoot the other one. I had a dream that the gold fell on blind eyes. I had a dream that they missed with every shot. You had a dream, woke up dead still in the night, yeah. You had a dream, says this is all we got. Are you alright? Oh, are you alright? Are you alright? Oh, are you alright? Alright. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to mute that right here.
If you are just joining us, our guest this evening is Stoll Vaughan. He's playing solo for this program, and not to forecast your experience here, but I think you're going to enjoy his new album, Desire's Shape, in a way not unlike what you'll find in this performance tonight on Red Barn Radio. We're really glad to have Stoll back
Thank
on
you.
the program with us. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, well, let's talk about what's happened since a while ago. So, a long while ago, you left Lexington during your high school years to go up to Michigan. What did you do up there?
Exactly. I went to a school called Interlochen Arts Academy, and it was a different experience altogether because they had you go there as a guitar major, as a theater major, as a violinist, and so it wasn't typical school. And coming from Lexington, you kind of show up at this place and it's like, what in the world? It's like a utopia for creative kids. And so, yeah, that was kind of my start of believing that music is a path that I could take. You know?
So, but you didn't go up there though, having taken 12 years of the Suzuki method.
Not at all.
Or studied, deep piano since you were 3 years old.
Like because there was a girl, I remember this girl doing a recital. She was 15 years old. She was going on a full ride to Juilliard at 15 because she played marimbas like a savant, but I didn't have that experience. I discovered music right around 12 years old, and what I discovered in it was this ability to kind of disappear. And so I never really went out to learn a bunch of songs. I started writing some instrumental songs. I started it was almost like a meditation before I knew what meditation was, and I just got so attached to it that I started a band around here. We'd play in Richmond, but when I went up there, it was I played some instrumental songs and some bad songs that I had written, and but my teacher just saw something in me, maybe and he's still my friend now, so I know exactly what he saw. He saw that I had the passion and I had the commitment that I didn't even know that I existed. So, yeah.
Did you find some kids? So I'm glad you found a teacher or two up there who, sort of embraced who you were.
Yeah.
Did you find other kindred spirits there? In the kid form. Kids who were there not necessarily because they were on a focused path to professional music, but because they were just looking to learn more about their musical selves, sort of like what you were doing?
Definitely. I mean, I learned a lot about music. I have a lot of friends from that time that we've shared this experience, kind of the creative pursuit experience together since high school. And I have, a lot of my friend group is still from that time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So from that school, what was the next school? If we think of your life as just a lot of learning, which it seems like it is. It seems like you've had some really rich experiences that have shaped you and taught you a lot about who you are and what you wanted to do and in what way.
For sure.
And so from Interlochen, you went to what school
next?
Yeah,
so I went down to Indiana, to Bloomington, Indiana, where a guy out of here named Mike Wanchek, he went to Lafayette, but he's been in Indiana forever. He's been the guitar player for John Mellencamp since the beginning. So he had a studio, and he related to my family to some degree. My grandparents got separate; they broke up, and then my grandfather married his mother, but then they broke up, and my grandparents got back together, something like that. But so I knew I had met him when Mellencamp would come through and play Rupp Arena. So I knew that he was in the music business. So when I left Interlochen, I knew I wasn't good enough to go to a conservatory. So I went straight down there and started working as an intern in his recording studio. It was called Echo Park, and it was a great studio.
Oh, yeah.
And I just started working. Bands would come through, and Mellencamp was making a record, and I just got thrown into it. And so for a moment there, I went to IU, but I joined a band that we started touring. They were already an established band, and they needed a guitar player. And so I did IU through the Note Network, which if you're in school, I don't advise it because you just don't really learn anything from just a bunch of notes from kids, So I had to drop out of IU, but the experience that I did have was I got involved in the recording studio. I got into a band. I started touring the country, and I realized during that time, because Mike was big on songwriting. He said, I went up to him one day and I said, "Man, I want to just make a record." And he goes, "Do you have any songs?" I said, "Huh? No, we'll just go in there and do what Radiohead does." He goes, "You have to have songs." And so that was my first introduction to the craft of songwriting, And then I got turned on to John Prine, Bob Dylan, Tom Waits, these sorts of fundamental, Townes Van Zandt, James McMurtry, these fundamental writers that kind of shaped my beginning.
Yeah, and so I mean that's a sort of a high calling to, or a big charge, I should say, to say would go out, write some songs, and come back later.
Yeah.
What did you have to go on? I mean, like, what was you grounded in that way as a songwriter?
Yeah, I didn't. I'll tell you. I remember riding in the van, and I was sleeping underneath the it was like a Econo van, and they were playing Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks. And I was like, and I don't know why I thought this, because it's the greatest record of all time. But I thought, oh, I can do this, And so I kind of, that was like and I didn't like playing guitar for other people. And I felt like you never had control. So I just went off with that sort of fundamental. And then that meditation that I was talking about, that music gave me, inside of that playing, and then searching for lyrics that would kind of guide me. I wrote a lot of bad songs, but then I came back to Mike with a batch of about 10 songs, and we made my first record. And from there, I've just been trying to get better at the craft of it,
Yeah. Lifelong pursuit, right?
It truly is. I mean, I know I've written the same song probably 100,000 times, but it feels new. One of the things that just part of my personality is I don't learn a bunch of other people's songs, so I don't quite know. So everything I do, I feel like it's new in a weird way. Like when I figure out open D tuning, I'm like, wow, this is like amazing. Although if you look on YouTube, you can find people that are doing it at like 5 years old better than I am. But I feel like, it's I've left it so innocent in a lot of ways. Although I've been in the music business, and it's not innocent. Once you get in the game, it becomes this sort of like, is that a poppy enough chorus, or is this cool enough? Is this the right? But I've always left this side of things in this sort of personalized. It's part of my kind of, not diary. That sounds awful, but it's just like a real part of my life since I found music. I've tried to keep this away from production and stuff.
Yeah, you went after Indiana, and that, it sounds like that was a really rich experience on lots of levels. That really that was your launch pad, it sounds like.
It was. I mean, there was some great bands out of there at the time. There was a band called Old Pike, and Carl Bramel, who's been a friend of mine forever. Since then, he's in My Morning Jacket. There's a guy named Mike Flynn, who was the keyboard player, and he's the head, or the guy under L.A. Reid at Sony. And so there was this weird time there that there was a few bands that were signed to majors. And it was a weird time. But what happened after that is I moved to Nashville thinking that that's where songwriters go. They go to die.
Well, there's one place they go, right?
So I went down there, but I've always been the kind of person that, like, I have some good friends in publishing, and I'm the kind of guy that shows up and says, oh, these songs are awful, it's just like, what are you talking about, pontoons and airboats, or whatever. And so I wasn't a good fit I always thought of Nashville as a place that there's a generation of writers, and you'll see it in Nashville, and then all of a sudden there's a new generation. And what happens is kind of the new guard comes, and you want to be, I'm sounding really awful right now, or maybe arrogant, but because I'm talking about Nashville as if it's just, this is the way it is. This is the way I saw it. And so you have to wait out about 10 years, and you'll see if you see a Mercedes that's 10 years old, that guy's from that crew. And I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't, writing songs there felt like I was a medic in the Army, and you'd all get together and write a song, and it'd sound great. I mean, if you send it to your mother, she'd be like, that's the greatest song I've ever heard. But you write, and you're like, yeah, throw Coors Light, Bud Light, okay. Yeah. And then you leave. Everybody gets up and leaves. You don't even know them, and you've got this song.
Just some formula.
And It sounds good. It's about love, or it's about drinking, or I just could never, never felt it. So I didn't last very long in Nashville.
So by the time you got to L.A., had you already met folks in the course of, in the course of your ties to the music business in Indiana and in Nashville? Had you already met folks who were settled out there?
Yeah.
So when you went out there, did you have some people
to some degree?
See?
Yeah, to some degree. I mean, by that point, I'd opened for Mellencamp and Fogerty for a summer, and then that tour ended, and Def Leppard and Journey were going out on tour, and they needed an opener because Journey didn't want to open for Def Leppard, and Def Leppard didn't want to open for Journey. And so I was like a fluffer, right? And I was in the Live Nation world, so they're like, this guy's great. He'll go out there with an acoustic guitar, and then we can bill it as Journey, Def Leppard. So I finished that tour, and Rick Allen, the drummer, was making a record with his wife, and which is a hard thing to do, make a record with your significant other, you know. Building the house with your significant other, you know, picking a restaurant is hard. I mean, there's a lot of hard things out there. Making a record, I would think, would be harder than picking a restaurant. So he asked me to come out and help. And so I went out there and wrote the songs and helped produce it. And I had some friends from Interlochen there. And what really turned me on to LA at the time was it felt so foreign to me. It felt so vast and so big, and it felt so like I could discover some things about myself that maybe I couldn't have done in Nashville, because Nashville's a lot like Lexington. It's kind of the same, it's just the same thing. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I just needed, there was something there. There was like a place that I could really try to be creative in a way that I hadn't been able to explore before. And that's what really, I didn't have that many friends, but I developed them over the time. I mean, I did the music for David Lynch's Interview Project. Yeah. Which is I mean, he's incredible. And so there was, and then my songs started getting in TV shows, and I was like, this is great. Well, I don't need to leave.
Well, hey, but backtrack for a minute, because I want to come back to this. But
the girls are good looking. Is that what you're? Yeah, the girls are good looking.
Backtrack.
The weather's good.
To that place where you just sort of brushed by, you know, open quick for Fogerty, open quick for Mellencamp. Yeah. Now, so you had some tie to Mellencamp, which you described earlier. Yeah. But I mean, you're a really good songwriter and doing some great things. But you know, when I think of when I think of Fogerty, Mellencamp, either one of those guys, those guys can get whatever Emmylou Harris to open up for them. A
lot of times with that sort of stuff, it comes down to a money thing. You know, I mean, let's be honest. Like, I mean, they could get Emmylou, or they could get Lucinda Williams, or they could get anybody. But you know, those people are traveling with big bands. They request a certain amount of money a night, and you know, in the end, you know, I mean, not Fogerty, but I love like Def Leppard and Journey is my, you know, it's like, yeah, there's some guys in there that went through divorces, so they need to be out there working. Yeah, right. The ones that haven't are like, I can play a couple gigs, you know, I'm fine.
Oh, that's awesome.
So a lot of it's that, a lot of it's, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think with, and then I started music when my first record was done on tape and on Pro Tools. But Pro Tools, which is a software, was wheeled out. It cost like $40,000 for a studio to have it. And wheel it out. It'd be a big computer, and they'd try to make an edit, and you'd hit it, and you'd wait. And it would take forever. You hope it doesn't crash. And so I was kind of in this transition, like where music hadn't just become so easily accessible, but it was going there. So it's a strange world that I was living in. I was with Paradigm. I was opening up for Marty Stewart, that was some of my favorite. Shooter Jennings, all these sorts of people, but there wasn't any. The record Napster was out. Record labels were kind of going.
Oh, crazy.
You know, and so it was interesting. And now you can make a whole record on a laptop really well. Like no joke. To edit a vocal is like. And it could edit your whole vocal and tune it and put it like on time.
And our producer Ed Commons is upstairs shaking his head.
Man. We were talking about microphones.
They don't do it now the way we used to do it, and the way that we do it now.
No, for sure.
Which is the right way. We got to come back and talk some more about all this stuff. And
we go overboard?
No, not at all. I'd just as soon talk all night, but I won't have a job. When I come back next Wednesday. So we're with Stoll Vaughan here on Red Barn Radio. Great to have you with us, and let's get back to the music. Welcome him back, Stoll Vaughan.
Thank you. I'm like Ramblin' Jack Elliott. This song is called I Was All Alone. This is the first song I wrote on my last record, The Conversation. And I hadn't been making records. I had a studio and blah, blah, blah. And so you'll kind of see where I was. I know where I have started, desperate with a prayer. Ain't no chance of living, an idea I could not bear. And pity swept the bottom, dragged me across the rocks. Had no other option, oh, nothing made it stop. And I floated to the surface to catch my last breath. Surviving lost its purpose, and solitude killed the rest. And then you pulled me from the water, and you laid me on the bed. What I was, you know, I ain't that now. I was once all alone, but I ain't that anymore, no. Yeah, I was all alone, but I ain't that anymore. I laid there and I trembled. I looked you in your eyes, scared and I was humble, but I did not know why. You brought me to the shore, stoned and confused. Can't make it here no more. Hell, I don't know what to do. And then you just started laughing, saying right now I'll never know. Dry land I'm standing on is better than before, so just keep out of the water and keep this in your mind. For the pain that you've been living in almost killed you this time. You were once all alone, but you ain't that anymore, no. You were all alone, but you ain't that anymore. Well, I forget that I have fallen, what drove me to my depths. I stopped believing there might be something here I've missed, so I dive into the deep. Don't tell anyone. You don't know what I need, and you don't know what I want. And then that current starts pulling, and I don't know how to swim. I sink down to the bottom, and I'm back right there again. And then you tell me dinner's ready, and I wake up from my dream. Thank God for you, baby, and everything. Yes, I was once all alone, but I ain't that anymore, no. Yeah, I was all alone, but I ain't that. No, I ain't that anymore. All right, as I was talking about YouTube, thank you very much. All right. Well, on YouTube, you can see people play an open D really fast. This next song is called Forgiveness, which is kind of a key to my happiness in a lot of ways. And, you know, I just have to let go of some things, and don't we all? And so I wrote this one, and here we go. I got voices in my head, get me up and out of bed. I've been busted and I've been burned. My heart is beating, but you know it hurts. And I can tell you every name, but they'll never change anything. I ain't saying I'll forget it. Oh, their wrongs will ever be talking about forgiveness and how it gives you back your, yeah, it gives you back your life. Oh. I've got ghosts here in my way. Yeah, they haunt me every day. They got reasons and they got plans. Take me out when they get their chance. And I can tell you why they're here, but that won't make them disappear. I ain't saying I'll forget it. Oh, their wrongs will never be right. We're just talking about forgiveness and how it gives you back your, yeah, it gives you back your life. And I know it's never easy being torn apart. Forgive to be forgiven, and it'll open up your heart. I ain't saying we'll forget it. Oh, their wrongs will ever be right. We're just talking about forgiveness and how it gives you back your, yeah, it gives you back your life. All right, this next song is called So Righteous. It's on my new record as well. I did a video for it. Now this one, it might be weird in coming through the preamp, just to let you know, because I play like that, but it'll be great through these microphones. This song is, yeah, it's kind of, it's my thoughts and kind of about how strange this time is. Now ain't the time to act so righteous, stand our ground or get in the way. You and I, you know, we might be different, but right now, you know, we're all to blame. Ain't no answers in the in-between. You looking backwards or you start to dream. Ain't no distance when you don't know where you go. Only resistance from what you've known. Going somewhere but you lost the path. Stuck in the mud and now we're tangled in the grass. Buzzards above us so it won't be long. You and I will be dead and gone. Now ain't the time to act so righteous, stand our ground or get in the way. You and I, you know, we might be different, but right now we're all to blame. Up in the air and blowing like leaves, in between the chaos of what we've seen. No way out and nowhere to hide. only choices that you don't decide. Born together, we've been torn apart. Something must break in order to change our hearts. Rivers are rising, so it won't be long. The dam is weak and we'll be dead and gone. Now ain't the time to act so righteous. Stand our ground or get in the way. You and I, you know, we might be different, but right now, you know, we're all to blame. The night is falling and the lines are drawn. The right to living, baby, we all belong. Now ain't the time to act so righteous. Stand our ground or get in the way. You and I, you know, we might be different, but right now we're all to blame. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Red Barn Radio is brought to you with the help of Chef Greg Scott and Broussard's Delta Kitchen, featuring authentic flavors of New Orleans and the Mississippi Delta. They're on Main Street in historic Georgetown, Kentucky, and they're also on Facebook. What a surprise. Our program is also brought to you by Accuprint, providing printing, design, and fulfillment. They're online at accuprint.us. Now, welcome back to tonight's Red Barn Radio program. Red Barn Radio is coming to you live on all of our social media platforms from the Arts Place Performance Hall here in the great city of Lexington, Kentucky. And now, welcome back, Stoll Vaughan, to the Red Barn stage.
Thank you very much. This song is called Weatherman. I wrote this walking down Ventura Boulevard. It's what a Kentuckian would be like in Los Angeles. Now, here we go. I'm sitting here thinking about the riddle in my head, so I called the doctor up. Said his girlfriend's in the kitchen, his hopes are gone missing. Then it just hung up. A dial tone ringing in my ear, I was thinking, who else could I call? Oh, I started laughing when I realized something ain't nobody at all. I'm looking for an answer tonight. What's the difference between living, being alive? Is there something that you need to believe, or a place you gotta be? Well, I know the answer you tell. Let me tell you this, suits you well, but you cast a map and made of sand. I ain't no weatherman. Yeah, the rain comes in. Yeah, the rain comes in. Sitting here waiting for an old man, walking like watching paint just dry. He finally makes it to the other side. On his face he ain't satisfied. Well, tell me something, is this what we're doing? Growing up and slowing down? If that's the case, mister, shoot me with your pistol like a rabid dog, put me down. I'm looking for an answer tonight. What's the difference between living, being alive? Is there something that you need to believe, or a place you gotta be? Well, I know the answer you tell. Let me tell you this, suit you well, but you cast them up and made of sand. I ain't no weatherman. Yeah, the rain comes in. Yeah, the rain comes in. Well, I was out late, dancing with your lady, and we were getting close. When the music stopped, I asked her name. She just ran off. Well, I'm on a plane thinking about my connection. Maybe she was deaf or mute. Either way, I'm all alone, and she's in love with you. I'm looking for an answer tonight. What's the difference between living and being alive? Is there something that you need to believe, or a place you gotta be? Well, I know the answer you tell. Let me tell you this, suits you well. But you cast a map and made of sand. I ain't no weatherman. Yeah, the rain comes in. Yeah, the rain comes in. Rain comes in. All righty, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, that is one of my favorite songs that I've written, but that's just me. I have a lot of favorites. This next one is it's called Low Down. It's off my record, The Conversation. Same with that one. As we were talking in the interview, my last record that I made called The Conversation, we didn't talk about this, but I went back to Indiana to record it. I went to, I first called up my buddy Carl Bramel, and I had a batch of songs. I went to his house in Nashville, and we recorded just him and I, a bunch of tunes, like 7, and then I went back up to Mellencamp's studio with Mike Wanchek and got the gang back together and finished the record and mixed it there. And so this song is called Low Down. It's also on the record. But anyways, I called it The Conversation because it was a conversation between myself, a good friend, a mentor, and the great spirit of the universe. I used to walk around, yeah, looking down, hanging on, baby, thinking about how's it gonna get my way. Well, I didn't care, I didn't mind, it was hard to be a friend of mine. I was gonna take everything I could take, but that's just who I was. If I had you, I wanted more. If you met me then, you would have locked your door. 'Cause in my mind it was a waste of time. You thought of love just to feel alive. Felt that for a moment I'd be gone. There was nothing worse, it was a curse to drag you right on through the dirt, leave you broken, feeling so alone. But that's just who I was. Didn't give a damn what you were looking for. If you met me then, you would have locked your door. I was low, yeah, way low down. I've been on my way up to you, on up to you. Where the break of dawn came rushing in. It was dark before, but I saw it again. Helpless, hopeless, lying on the floor. Thought came to me, I must concede that what I've been I can never be, but I gotta be just a little bit more. But that was just a start. I was the same as I ever was before. If you met me then, would have locked your door. Well, them years and years, they slip on by. I started opening up my eyes, started knowing what it might just take to love. You gotta give it all, gotta give it up, gotta give some more and never judge. Be the rock that they can stand upon. For they would do the same for you, baby, pick you up and carry you through. Be the comfort line there in their arms. This is what I understand, honey, this is now just who I am. Something's changed in my heart. So meet me here right now, What I was, I am no more. I've come on up to knock upon your door. I was low, way low down. I've been on my way, yeah, on my way, oh, on my way, on up to you, yes, up to you, on up to you, on up to you, yeah. All right. So, as we talked about in our interview, one of the things that I was doing when I was a lot younger is I was doing instrumental songs. And I never had the, courage or willingness to put one on a record. But on this last record, Desire's Shape, I had a song called Will of Man. And I had all the words, and I would record the record, and I would drive out and go touring, and I would listen to the songs, and I discovered that this song just didn't work. But I printed up the CD packaging and vinyl packaging with Will of Man already on it. So I thought, oh man, I need to do something. And I was kind of out of words in my head, so I thought, you know what? This is my chance. Nobody else is producing me except myself and my wife. I'm going to do it. So I slaved it out and injured my hand, I think, but and just pounded it out and came up with an instrumental song called Will of Man. So it's Will of Man. This is Will of Man 2, but it's on the record Will of Man. The original song is Will of Man 1. But you don't need to know any of that. Just buy the record, and I probably will never put out Will of Man 1. So this is Will of Man. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Let me try again. This is hard, you know. I've only played it live a couple times. Something like that.
Nice job.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking playing instrumental songs.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he did a great job. I mean, really, really nice dynamics in the song, and nice finger picking, and beautiful sounding instrument too.
Yeah, the guitar. This guitar is great for that, and you know, since this whole pandemic thing, I've been. It's hard to write words. You know, you can write them down. It's easy to write, kind of stream of consciousness, but it's hard to put things together. And I find myself writing a lot more kind of instrumental things because you don't need to pin it to anything.
You've been doing more instrumental stuff during the last 8 months, 7 months.
Well, no, so during the last couple months since I
okay.
got back to Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to write a new record at some point.
So has this time? I mean, you don't know really how to talk about this time anymore. It's such a different experience for all of us, depending on what we do.
Right.
Yet it's the same in so many ways too, in which your song "Righteous," really sort of captures. It's, it does us no good. All that other stuff shit that we're doing right now doesn't do anybody any good, doesn't help anybody heal.
No.
Doesn't help anybody feel better, feel less lonely.
Yeah, I think, being in a big city when I was, moving back here, it's so wonderful because you're so close to the earth here. And so you kind of find the spirit of the universe a little bit quicker, and you don't have your phone kind of jamming at you. And I've deleted my news app, I've deleted my Instagram, all these things that kind of come at you. But yeah, I think for me, the first month of this thing was like a reckoning in a way, where your life is planned out in a way, like you're coming back from something, so you might have a little bit of downtime, it might feel a little bit low or lonely, but then you're going on to something else. So it's like, yeah, I just did this, and I'm going to do this, and then you're doing something, and then your life kind of keeps you in this sort of balance in a weird way, that you don't really have to face some of your insecurities, your fears, and I feel like what this did for me was it took those things off the table. So I needed to ask myself, where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Without going out and touring and putting out another record, and what am I in that world? And and that's great for me. That's a great place for a guy like me to be. I'm grateful for change. But talking about all this other stuff, like So Righteous, that stuff has become, it's just become too much.
On both sides.
Oh,
right?
it's and it's been coming, and now that it's kind of a tsunami into, like, it came through the universities in a lot of ways, a lot of kind of crazy sorts of yelling at each other and stuff like that. And now it's come everywhere, and it's jarring, because love is taken out of the equation, compassion. So it's a basic human characteristics that.
And you mentioned forgiveness too.
Yeah.
That another tune of yours, which to me was really, really an important song for today too. Another thing that kind of connects us is the importance of that for sort of getting back our lives. And I thought that was really.
But it's so hard to do
poignant.
that when you get in these sorts of echo chambers, and I don't know. I don't know if 1968 and 69 were the same as this. I wasn't alive, so I don't know. But it seems pretty intense right now. And
so do you have, you were talking earlier, Stoll, about these periods of time that you have naturally where you have trouble sort of getting into the word, and so you think, you sort of think at that point in time instrumental You think about just sort of, work on your instrument. Are there some things that you do? You mentioned meditation. Do you have some practices that get your mind and body in a place where you can better receive, what the world is delivering to you?
Yeah. This is for all the songwriters out there. No, there's one thing that I know to be true. That if you feel like you want to write, sit down for 2 hours. And sometimes I break it up. I don't do this often, but when I was coming back into writing the conversation, I would break it up into 20-minute increments, and I'd take 5 minutes off. But within 2 hours, something will come. You will find that sort of meditation, that sort of spirit where maybe it's a verse, maybe it's a chorus, and you can then put that aside and come back and visit it later. And yes, I do meditate. I do a lot of things, but those are for me to function in the world, not so much to write songs. I think, and in functioning, I kind of get experiences that in that 2 hour time frame of trying to write, those things slip in. Forgiveness. I was all alone. What other songs? Desires of Despair. These sorts of experiences that I've been walking with, kind of slip in that time. So it's not does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think somebody told me one time she'd written songs with Prince, and so Prince is on my Mount Rushmore. It's like Prince, Dylan, Tom Waits, and John Prine. And so whatever she said, I believed as gospel. And she said, give it 2 hours, and the spirit of music will show up at some point in that 2 hours, but do not stop. You will have every thought in your head to stop. You'll be like, oh, this is awful. This lyric is awful. This guitar, I'm no good. I'm too good. I'm da-da-da. Why is my life this way? Why is my girl not cooking dinner? Whatever it is, all these thoughts, it's like meditation. They just come at you, and they're coming at you so fast that it's hard to give it all the way that 2 hours. But if you just continue and let those things hit you and don't take it so personally, you will find that voice, that story that you're trying to get across. It might not be the greatest song. It might be the greatest song, but you'll get there. And I just think people have a hard time being hit in all ways, they by themselves. Being alone is not that great sometimes, unless you get to that other point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, well, it's been really interesting finding out, some of the things you've learned in the course of time, and the places you've been, and the people you're close to, and people who do this work professionally and who write professionally. And it's a really neat sort of education that you've gotten along the way.
Yeah, there's schools of thought. There's a school of thought that do it like a job. And I just don't agree with that, because I don't think that music is just something that you walk with. Before there was recorded music, it was just something. I would sing you a song about my experience working. And now it's become this sort of thing that it takes it away. This is just part of my being. That's what music, for me, songwriting is. And yes, you need to practice. You need to have some sort of theory or history. But great songs don't have to come from a musician. They don't have to come from. They can come from anyone. I really think that. And that makes sense.
Stoll, it's great to have you. Great to have you back in Kentucky.
Did I just talk it out? Did I just talk myself out on that? I feel like
that's all right. Has it been a nice thing for you to be back in this place? You were talking about the connection to the natural world, and has that been good for your soul?
It's the greatest gift to come back to Kentucky. When I was 17, 18, I wanted to get out of here as fast as possible. Like a lot of people, you want to go to New York, or you want to go somewhere. And over the years, I've noticed how much Kentucky is a part of me, because I grew, just by growing up here, and and so now I can really appreciate what this place is. And I remember when the pandemic happened, people were texting me like, Kentucky's well built for this, and da da da, and like,
Yeah.
But there's a calmness here, and there's a connection here. The weather changes a lot here. You get to and you get to deal with family, and that's a whole other realm. And I don't suggest it, but I can't. I have to stop running now.
That's part of it. That's you get to exercise all the lack of righteousness and the forgiveness and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
forgiveness all the time.
Those kind of things help when you're working with our families. So, and it helps them when they're working with us too. So,
well, when do they work with us? I think we were always working for them. That's the way I see it. I don't know.
Welcome back, Stoll Vaughan, folks. Great to have you back.
Man, it's been a long time, but I got some more songs since then. All right, this song is called Troubles. Speaking of Kentucky, this kind of feels like it. Sun's going down, darling, lake's on fire. You're held up by your last desire. I can't be mad 'cause you know no better. Two-faced with high heels, you know no other. Grab your trouble, baby, start to dig. Bury all your trouble, no way underground. You'll see it in the streets, yeah, you'll see it in their eyes. Feeling when them storm clouds, you know they're gonna rise. You'll meet the ghost of fear and she'll ask you how you been. You'll say you're doing fine, but she'll leave you wondering. Grab your shovel, darling, start to dig. Bury all your troubles underground. Sun's going down, darling, lake's on fire. Your head up by your last desire. I can't be mad 'cause you know no better. Two-faced with high heels, you know no other. Grab your shovel, baby, stop the dig. Bury all your troubles underground. Oh, grab your shovel. Bury all your troubles underground. Thank you. You just like upbeat songs. I know how this is, okay? I know. But I'm going to play you another fishing song. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun. You don't understand how happy I am to be here. This is a lot of songs, and I got to start practicing a week ago, and it really... I've played them all before because I wrote them, but being in Kentucky, I started farming 2 acres of hemp. I started working on a space for a studio, so I wasn't really doing the playing the songs just on my own, and this kind of has re-inspired me. I think you might not have had the guitar that time. Sorry about that. You didn't need it anyways, it was too loud. This song is called Roll On. Dreams behind me, dreams ahead, to be broke down in the middle. I'd rather be dead, so I keep on falling forward, I keep on slipping in. Where I'm going, that I cannot predict, so I roll on, like that river running through, roll on. We are born here in time. Keep on moving, 'cause the end we can't deny. The road is shorter the further we go. Can't find answers to the questions you don't know. So let's roll on, like that river running through, roll on. And let that clock tick and that sunset, babe, do our best, that is all. And we just roll on. There's a place, you've seen it in your dreams before. The only way to get there is let go of the weight of the world. Baby, I can promise you there's more than just luck. Wherever we've been going, something's always been taking care of us. So let's roll on, like that river running through, roll on. Come on, roll on, let that river run through, roll on. Right. Here, that's called Roll On. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This next song is my my wedding song. Oops, sorry about that. I got you. It's this was featured in the finale of The Office during the wedding scene between November Rain, American Girl, and something else. They kept on calling saying, "Will you can you take a little less money, but we'll give you more songs over here." So I ended up having like 6 songs in that, or 4 songs or something like that in the finale. So, yeah, so when they're dancing in the wedding scene, I think so. I don't watch too much TV, but, is it back on? Oh, here, let me got you. I knew I would forget that. But that last song, the fast song, you didn't need it because it's never been recorded well without microphones. So this is called Meet You in the Middle. Broken hearted from the day you were born. It ain't your fault, don't you worry, babe. They'll break you, they will try to drain you. Gotta learn just to turn away. You were born with angels' wings. Look in the mirror, that's all you see. All the things that you want, you know. Gotta love it completely. I'm gonna meet you in the middle of a hurricane. I'm gonna meet you in the middle of a flood with the boat in the pouring rain. Yes, I'll meet you in the middle of a sad song. I'll meet you anywhere you want to help you carry on, yeah. Don't Don't forget to try to change your plans that you know and understand. See yourself from a point of view. Nobody controls you. You were born with the world in your hands. It can easily slip away. Feeling fragile, but you're more than able. I'm just here to help you see the way. I'm gonna meet you in the middle of a hurricane. I'm gonna meet you in the middle of a flood with the boat in the pouring rain. Yes, I'll meet you in the middle of a sad song. I'll meet you anywhere you want to help you carry on. 'Cause you were never alone, yeah, darling. You were never alone. Don't forget to try to steal your laugh. You don't want to go back to that. Coming at you with the fury of lies. Gotta learn just to turn your back. You got so much to give, more than they'll ever know. You were born with angels' wings. You got the shadow that cast on the floor. I'm gonna meet you in the middle of a hurricane. I'm gonna meet you in the middle of a flood with the boat in the pouring rain. Yes, I'll meet you in the middle of a sad song. I'm gonna meet you anywhere you want and help you carry on. 'Cause you were never alone, yeah, darling. You were never alone, yeah, baby. You were never alone, yeah, darling. You were never alone.
We would like to thank Stoll Vaughan for being with us this evening, and we also thank our volunteers and staff for their help in making our production happen each and every week. Thank you all for listening to our webcast, watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and those listening to us on the Red Barn network of stations. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio, roots music, Southern style.
All right, this song is called Own the World. I wrote it when I was all alone in a hotel room, and it's a gospel song. Step outside and the sun can be gone. Trees bare and you can do me wrong, but if I got you, I own the world. You ever change with the seasons? I was born to watch you grow. Only God knows the reasons. Where we stand, we never know. When I stand with you, yeah, I stand with you. I stand on top of the world. Out of gas on the interstate, checkout line and I'm running late. If I got you, I own the world. Let's go out and I'm laying here in a motel somewhere. If I got you, I own the world. We can be miles away. It don't matter at all. I'm with you, babe, in every way. down this pathway we walk. When I walk with you, I walk with you, I walk on top of the world. As I sit here and I write this song, play it out in some cold dark hall. If I got you, I own the world. Sit here and I ain't alone. I can't believe I don't want no more. I got you, yeah. I own the world. And I got you, I own the world. When I got you, I own the world. All righty. Thank you all so much.
Hey, that's all from Red Barn Radio for this week. You can see and hear us worldwide as we stream live on the web on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. Hey, next time on Red Barn Radio, we welcome Cole Chaney. Cole's a singer-songwriter from near Catlettsburg, Kentucky, and he now works full-time as a musician after working for many years as a welder. We're looking forward to having Cole on the show. Join us next week for Cole Chaney on Red Barn Radio. Now, from all of us here at Red Barn Radio to all of our friends worldwide, it's our hope that you have a terrific week. Keep working together to be safe and healthy. And until next time, good night.